Hello and welcome. I'm Wise Old Tree, and this is a review of Dimension 20, Season 26, Cloudward Ho. Starting with an overview, Cloudward Ho is a live play D&D series produced by Dropout and released in the latter half of 2025. It's another 20-episode series, with episodes averaging over 2 hours apiece. Brennan Lee Mulligan is the game master for the season, and the players are Zach Oyama, Emily Axford, Lou Wilson, Brian Murphy, Siobhan Thompson, and Allie Beardsley. This is the 10th season of the quote-unquote main cast of this group of players, although this season is a standalone adventure with its own world, characters, and story. This time it's steampunk, with the setting as a backdrop to a story about former friends, colleagues, and associates coming back together to investigate the disappearance of their former mentor. But that investigation has many twists and turns that lead the group to explore new horizons and discover lands unknown. For my overall impressions, I'll start with the steampunk genre. It's a genre that blends historical, technical innovations of the steam power era with fantastical what-about-isms of how such technology might have evolved, which itself often veers in a direction of sci-fi or fantasy or both. Steampunk is not exactly a favorite genre of mine, and even if it's not something I'd reject on sight, it's not something I typically seek out in my media. With that said, I enjoyed the setting for Cloudward Ho. Not enough that it changed my mind on the genre, but I definitely enjoyed my time here. Part of that enjoyment definitely comes from the emphasis on exploration in the narrative. The player characters aren't just looking for their lost mentor, but have to unravel that mystery within the mystery of the fabled land of Zood. That aspect of discovery is played out well in the narrative, the characters finding not just clues, but new lands, areas, and even societies on their journey. I think it's a discredit to previous seasons to say they were missing this element of discovery, but almost certainly no other season of Dimension 20 presents discovery so directly upfront as Cloudward Ho does. The miniature work and set design is once again fantastic. A unique element this season includes the incorporation of puzzle elements into the design of the set itself for the players to uncover. This gives a real present visual flair to some of the puzzle and mystery aspects of the story, and the player's excitement is always really fun to see. The comedic aspects of the season are also interesting. This cast of players have been working together for a long time, and it shows, both in a good and a bad sense. Clearly, the group is extremely familiar with each other's styles, and they support that really well. I definitely had my share of laughs this season, but even as someone who's watched every season of Dimension 20, there are times when the jokes and bits drift off to a point where the best I can say is, at least they're having fun. It never got to the point where I felt it ruined a scene or an episode, but I did notice it more this season than any other I've watched. This season, my character to highlight is Vanellope Van Chapman, played by Siobhan Thompson. Vanellope is a kind of grizzled veteran, been there, seen that adventurer who has to open up to new possibilities as world shattering discoveries are made. Vanellope's story gets really interesting in the second half of the story, in a way that I don't want to spoil in this review, but I do want to call out as being particularly fun. Also, Vanellope is married, and her husband Bert is an NPC who plays a small but continuous part for the entire story. The dynamic is occasionally used for laughs, but the relationship itself isn't ever the punchline to the joke, which is something that I appreciated. Finally, I feel the need to mention Siobhan's skill at real world puzzle solving this season. It's really impressive to see. As for a rating, I'm going to give season 26 of Dimension 20, Cloudward Ho, a 4 out of 5. I think this was a solid season, decent characters, and a fun world. Plus, I'm always a sucker for a really good mystery. It didn't ever quite reach the peaks that my personal favorite seasons did, but it didn't really have that many valleys either. Usually, I'll have some characters in a season that just don't resonate as well for me as other characters do, but I thought every character this season was pretty good. I don't know if any of them would make it to a list of my favorite D20 characters of all time, but there's definitely a lot of good work all around for everything that every player brings to the table. The discovery aspect of the narrative, which ran the risk of burning itself out quickly, was presented and rolled out in a way that was continuously engaging throughout the entire show's run. One thing I'm not sure about is how my opinion of this season will hold up over time. The season has bright points, but I don't know if they'll stay with me the same way that other moments from other seasons have for years and years after I first watch them. Still, this is my impression at the moment, and this is a season I would recommend for anyone who likes the steampunk genre, or stories about discovering fantastical locales, or anyone just looking for a fun RPG story to watch or listen to. All right, that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and see you next time, maybe.